Hi everyone, I'm Perry Anderson with BestLine Lubricants and RacingAdditives.com. We're here today with Dana Wardell at the Phoenix Motorsports Race Shop. I'm going to introduce Dana, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's in oil, what kinds of additives are in oil, and why Dana uses it. And some of his. Well, what we're going to try to explain a little bit is what's in a $4 bottle of oil, right? Versus what's in a $9 bottle of oil. Why do you suspect there's a difference in price?
I know what it is. It's the additive.
All right, so the facts are that the cost of the oil, 80% of the cost of the oil is the additive package that goes into it. Now, the additive packages that are in these differ based on what the manufacturer is trying to accomplish. You have to remember one of the main things a manufacturer of oil is trying to accomplish is making a profit, right? So their goal isn't necessarily your goal. Your goal is going to be longer engine life, right? Especially on a race car, but your truck, your daily drivers, and everything else. So keep in mind that the additive packages that are in these meet minimum SAE and API specifications. And I said minimum, not maximum, right? So minimum specifications, and also their goal of being able to make a certain amount of profit. So the additive packages there's dozens of different products that go into the additive packages that you'll see on the screen also that when we're talking about this. And BestLine is simply an additive package. These guys could use BestLine as an additive package, but it would increase the price, right? So they're trying to meet their ultimate goal of making a certain profit margin and meet certain what they think are the customer needs to be able to move some product. With BestLine, we're trying to increase the life of your motor, which you've proven over the last several years that we actually do.
And under extreme driving conditions.
Yeah, BestLine could be used by the manufacturers, but they don't because it would increase the price of their product. The reality is that you found too, if you use BestLine engine treatments in your motor of any kind, motorcycle, car, race car, whatever it is, it actually pays for itself in fuel mileage, and in your case, in a race car, it's not so much fuel mileage, but it's life expectancy of that motor. We have tons of data that prove that we can increase the life of a motor by more than 80%. It sounds crazy, but we actually can, and we can show you. We guarantee it. I actually guarantee that it's a money-back guarantee on the product that we sell, too. Anytime you buy something from me, if you don't like it, I'll give your money back. You know how many times I've had to do that?
None.
Yeah, exactly. 0. So I will continue to make that offer. It's a money-back guarantee on this. So what people really want to hear now, Dana, is a little bit more about the race car and what you've experienced with BestLine.
It's an NHRA legal, Heritage Series, blown alcohol, nostalgia front engine dragster. The engine's 526 cubic inches. Makes anywhere between, in the form that we have it now, the tune-up that we have now, we're somewhere between 1,600, 1,800, on upwards of 2,000 if we leaned on it. So as we run the engine throughout the year, we're always checking it. We check for bearing life. It's the main thing we look at. We'll take a rod cap off a rod, look at the bearings. We want to see what kind of wear patterns we're seeing on that.
Okay.
Since using the BestLine product, the wear pattern on the bearings has almost gone to nothing. After a year of using it, they look brand new. I changed them out only because I felt guilty that I wasn't working on the motor. And I felt I should be.
Now these are the bearings.
This rod and piston assembly, if we saw something that had a wear pattern like this, we would automatically change these bearings out. We don't like what we see with this scuffing, which tells us there may have been a lack of lubrication. This is an old rod. Bearing assembly from 1.5 years, 2 years ago. We took these out that we ran for an entire year, and they look brand new. There's no scuffing, there's no wear marks. Again, we could have left these in there. I changed them out only because I felt guilty. Figured I can always use these for a spare.
We also have Chris Davis that runs a Nostalgia Nitro funny car out of Spokane. Chris Davis has been using our product for a long time with the same results. The Nitro funny car, that motor has to come apart after every run. He gets to save bearings too. I mean, he's running these cars on his own dime, so saving money by not having to replace the bearings and parts is a big deal. So, all right, so what we're going to do next is go to the test machine and go ahead and run some of these oils, and we're going to see what a $4 bottle of oil looks like on a Lubricity test machine and a $9 bottle of oil, and then we'll do it also with BestLine engine treatments added and see what happens. Want to do it?
Sounds like fun.
All right. So this is called a Felix lubricity tester, an extreme pressure lubricity tester. And what I want to show you right now is exactly what we do for each individual test. This is a spinning mandrel that's got a wheel bearing race on it. And this is a wheel bearing out of a bearing out of a wheel bearing that's the same material as the race. It's hardened steel, and so what we do is take this wheel bearing, lock it into place. That way it's clean, it's free of any scars. This piece on the wheel bearing, what we do each time is that we make sure that we remove the scars off of that. Any contaminants that are already on there, we remove it between every test. So we do this between every test that we're going to show you. Is they're cleaned and prepared every time with a brand new bearing. We don't reuse the bearing. We don't go over the top of an existing wear scar that you'll see, and you'll know more about that in a few minutes. So that's how we start each test, is with a fresh bearing and a clean race between every test that we do. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're back with the Felix lubricity tester. This is an extreme pressure test. This is a tester that everybody still uses as kind of a primary test. There's other ASTM tests that we use that are called 4-ball wear tests and those. But this gives us a really good result, especially when we're comparing one oil to another. Let's see what the difference is. And then what we're going to do is add some BestLine to each one and compare the difference, what happens there. So what we're going to do is open up this new bottle of Napa oil, turn this machine on, and put the rag down there to catch the drops. And we're just going to add this. We're just going to coat this lightly with oil, so it's more like what's actually in your motor. We're not going to drench it in a big pocket of oil. We're just going to want to make sure that this is coated. And then we're going to go ahead and add some weight to this, and we'll see what happens. What we're going to really do, we're looking for the wear scar on this. And we're going to add 5 pounds at a time. We're going to go ahead and try to get to 20 pounds. That's 5 pounds. And you hear the sound it makes. That's 10 pounds, 15 pounds, and 20 pounds. And it failed at 20 pounds. All right, so now what we're going to do, I have to remove the weight. And we're going to take a look at the kind of scar that it made. So this wear scar, and I'll rotate it out of the way. What we're going to do is show you the scar it made at 20 pounds. Add a little BestLine to this oil, and then run a test and see how it compares. So that's the oil, and we'll add a little BestLine to it, mix it up a little bit, and then put that on the bearing and see how it compares. And we'll be able to compare the wear scar at that point. So we'll go ahead and start adding weight to it. Five, 10, 15, 20 pounds. And before, you notice with the oil itself, it failed at 20. It's at 20 pounds right now, still runs just fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift and turn it off and compare the wear scar. So what you'll notice, I'm going to lift the bearing out of here, and we'll compare the wear scar. So this is the $4 bottle of oil with BestLine, just a little polish mark, as compared to that wear scar without BestLine. So that's without BestLine, and that's with BestLine. We're going to have some fun for you race car guys. We got some Kendall Nitro 70 that a lot of you guys use. So we're going to run a lubricity test on it. Everything's already been cleaned and prepped, and we're going to open this new bottle of Kendall, and we'll go ahead and give it a try, see how it does as compared to what we've already done. And of course it's a 70 weight, so it's pretty thick. Pretty sticky, which of course is designed that way on purpose. So let's go ahead and start adding some weight to it now. It's 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds. So the Kendall's doing a great job, 20 pounds. There's not a lot of screeching going on, so let's go ahead and see what kind of wear scar. We'll see what kind of wear scar it created. Turn everything off, take the weights off. And we'll show you what kind of wear scar this is, which isn't much, as you would expect. So now we're going to roll this over, and we're going to add a little BestLine to it and see if we can improve on what Kendall has done with their race oil. So now we're going to add a little BestLine to it. Get it mixed up nice. Get the BestLine and Kendall on there together. See what kind of partnership we can form for an extreme pressure test. So we'll go ahead and add the weight on there and see if we can create any improvement. That's 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds. Notice how quiet it is. That's 20 pounds, the same as it was before, for about the same length of time. So now we're going to shut it off and take a look at the wear scar. So what you'll notice is pretty amazing. I always love doing this because it dramatically shows the difference, and actually it's not as hot either. So you can notice the Kendall, which is a nice polish mark. It's not a huge scar like you see on that you've seen on some of the other tests. But then there's Kendall with BestLine. It's just a tiny little polish mark. There's almost no mark at all. So that's Kendall, which is great. It's a high performance motor oil for race cars. And then Kendall with BestLine. Hey everybody, and welcome back. Dana and I are going to talk a little bit about what we just saw with some of the test results. So what we've done is we've taken the BestLine with a couple of different oils from one extreme to another and ran them on the lubricity machine that you just saw. And we're going to talk a little bit about that right now. So what we tested the first time, of course, was an inexpensive $4 bottle of oil, and it had on its own, it pretty much seized at the 20 pounds, and then with BestLine was just a slight little polish mark. So what that shows us is that you can take an inexpensive oil, a $4 bottle of oil, and turn it into a super oil that's going to protect that engine. So these tests that we run are a quick way to experience what you're going to experience with your motor, whether it's a race car or your daily driver. It simply takes any oil and turns it into a super lubricating oil that's going to increase the life expectancy of those motors by over 80%. And again, we have a lot of data that supports that. I'm just not coming up with some wild claim. BestLine has 52 worldwide patents that we've created over the last 15 years, along with a lot of engineering that goes into this product. So again, BestLine engine treatment is going to protect any motor that you have. Motorcycle, car, truck, diesel truck, heavy equipment, whatever it is, it's going to do the job. Dana, thank you so much for letting us in your shop. It's always a pleasure. And let's go racing.
Thanks for coming up. We're ready to go.
All right, great. Thank you.